So this is a heat in the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup. We have Radley College on the Berkshire Station and St Paul's School right in front of us here on the Buckinghamshire Station. And calm but nervy. We can see the Radley crew are sitting with their legs still flat, sitting relaxed. The umpire hasn't come to their feet yet, so the crew is just waiting and going through their very final few thoughts.
Semi-finals days for these gentlemen. The place in the final in Eton, waiting for the crew that crosses the finish line first, Greg.
Yeah, so we've already seen Eton College coming through the other semi-final, but it's all about being in the present, I think. And if we look at this Radley crew, just to think about getting the boat away from the stake boat and along Temple Island. We're at this Henley course, a little bit of shelter, a little bit of calm, a little bit of calm water. I think it could be some enthusiasm, though, coming from the bank. There's been a lot of enthusiasm coming the way of these crews as they left the boat tent enclosures. You see the umpire now has taken to their feet. The crews have come forward and are now getting ready to row.
Get ready, boys. Okay. Leo, now we're getting straight. Hands coming down. We're down.
Attention! Go!
You see the crews just squeezing away, and not surprisingly, expect to see St Paul's getting away with plenty of power, but also normally more finesse. There's a bit of splashing going on those blades there, Sarah.
Yeah, one of those moments, that second, third stroke on the stroke side blades of St Paul's, but it didn't look quite as clean, and you can see a little bit of steering has to happen, but this St Paul's blade, we've talked about it, it's been so fast all season and all regatta. So Radley, on the left-hand side of the picture there, they're going to have to really make sure they go out, they take this race to St Paul's.
Well, for anyone who hasn't been following the junior rowing in Great Britain at the moment, St Paul's School have been a clear #1, winning at the national schools, as we see them here, just coming up into their tastes coming out of the island now, just possibly looking to settle down a bit. Radley College have been picking up silver medals, getting in second place, but probably not a surprise because this crew from St Paul's has been so dominant throughout the year. If you have a look here, now Rory Gearing in the stroke seat of the Radley boat. His father, John Gearing, coaches the crew, and they're looking to keep in contact if they possibly can, but the St Paul's crew are very strong and looking to break away already.
Yeah, look at that, Greg, that St Paul's crew, they're just the length they're getting, the time over their toes, which is just allowing. We talked about the power off the start, they're really using it effectively. Legs and back, quite a simple stroke that they're rowing at the moment, but effective.
With George Dickinson in the stroke seat here with the St Paul's crew, and I think what we've seen is that they've got a real maturity about the way they row, a real relaxation on the way forward, but just power, leverage, they use the force they've got, they use the strength they've got so effectively. You can see them just marching away, and this gap is getting bigger and bigger, quite outstanding.
Yeah, Axel de Broussard, the Cox there, he looked over his left shoulder to see what was happening with the other crew. He's now focusing fully in front, as we want him to, concentrating on having that boat in completely the right place and making sure that his men can do their best rowing. And look at Radley, they are there, they're fighting up for it, their technique is really strong, but St Paul's, they're just more efficient and effective at the moment.
I think in most years you'd see that Radley crew as a good Princess Elizabeth schoolboy crew and you think this is good, but they're being really given a tough race here against St Paul's. We have a look here, this Radley crew, not a lot that you'd say that they're not doing well, moving pretty nicely together, but needing to take that little look over the shoulder. We saw L. Miles in the throat seat, in the 3 seat, taking a look over his left shoulder, and you'll see it's quite a gap, and he now needs to keep focused with the rest of the crew, to keep looking down the boat and moving with the rest of the crew. The St Paul's crew now are well out beyond the barrier. We'll have to wait and see just how fast they're going, because this is a crew that we expect could be out there to take records, could be out there to push new boundaries really in school rowing. Yesterday they equalled the record for the barrier, 1 minute 47, 3 minutes through Forley. That's where they might be looking to see if they can go even faster than tonight. It's not a big tailwind, so it's not favourable conditions, but certainly not bad conditions at all. And that time will get posted up in letters in that box that we see there. That's Forley, that's halfway down along the Henley course.
Yeah, and look at that, St Paul's, they're really driving it away. They want these records. They haven't been given the tailwind that maybe they were hoping for, but it is perfect conditions. Not a lot of stream at all on the river here. It's been so dry, so hot, but these guys are just pressing it on, effective together. They can see the opposition behind them. This is when I fell in love with the sport of rowing, Greg, when I suddenly realised when you're winning, you can actually see your opposition. I'd done running sports, and when you can winning, you can't see them. But for them, they'll be looking down, and it's Radley who look at that gap, who are going to be wondering where their opposition are.
Well, to be honest, that's quite astonishing, isn't it, when you look at that gap between the two? I saw a video from the national schools, and it was the same sort of thing, where there was one crew rowing along, that was St Paul's, and the camera had to pan back a long way before it found the rest of the field, having a 5-boat race that looked quite different. So we see it there on that sign, 3:01, so they're just 1 second outside their own record, which they'd set earlier in the week of 3 minutes through Forley.
Yeah, and just look at those the flags on the right-hand side. They're just flushing. There is a slight tailwind out there, but it's certainly not strong. And you know, that 3:01 is a very quick time to be getting to this race. Eton will be watching.
I'm sure Eton will be watching. Eton could be a little nervous, but they'll know what they're going to do. They'll know how they're going to prepare for their race, and they've got to row their own boat. They've got to focus on what they're doing. Not worry about how special this St Paul's school crew is. Coached by a fantastic combination of Bobby Thatcher and Donald Leggett. Donald Leggett, a fantastic man of rowing. One of the unsung heroes, I think. Really, he's coached Cambridge University for 50 years consecutively. He was part of the team that was there. Coached alongside Harry Mahon, a great coach of mine, a great friend of mine. I think learned a lot and really has carried on some of the work that Harry did. I think when you see the crews rowing along as efficiently and as well as this St Paul's school crew, I'm reminded of the lessons I learned from Harry, and I think they'll be thinking of the things they've learned from Donald. And it's also interesting that Donald has only worked with St Paul's in recent years. Previously, he was a Radley man through and through. And actually, it was 20 years ago when Radley last won the Princess Elizabeth back in 1998. And at that stage, Donald, in fact, was working with the Radley crew. So interesting to see just how he's worked with Bobby Thatcher so well and got this crew from St Paul's going so well. And as we say, we see the Radley crew in the foreground. There's nothing really they're doing wrong. It's just that's a very, very strong crew they've come up against.
Yeah, and if you look and see, the gap's closing a bit because St Paul's have in fact dropped their rate completely at the moment. They're just pressing away. They went obviously to see if they could get that record time to Forley. Having not got it, they've now dropped their rate, and they are just doing what Harry Mahon would have asked them to do, what Donald and Bobby have asked them to do, which is picking up the boat, being timely with the boat, and they're just enjoying this as they go past the stands.
Well, it's just a demonstration now for them, isn't it? They're conserving their energy, they're getting ready for tomorrow. And we see them coming down to the line, crossing the line with St Paul's crew, and they will be able to relax and enjoy the last few moments here. They ease the oars calmly and then see the boat from Radley come across the line. So confirmation there, that win in the semi-final of the Princess Elizabeth Cup for St Paul's over Radley College.
Wow, that 2-length verdict will not reflect what happened there in that race, Greg. That was a huge, huge gap that they then pushed away from.
Well, I think what we saw was just control, power. At the start here, it looked like a bit of aggression. There was a little bit of water splashing around, but clearly did nothing to slow the boat down. All about acceleration. And then once they got into their stride, into their rhythm, they took complete control of it. There's plenty of experience in this boat. We've got plenty of contenders for Junior World Championships who we'll be seeing, I'm sure, wearing the Great Britain vest later in the year as they all head off to do their trials. But today it's all about Henley Royal Regatta.